How you doing, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to This and That. I'm your host, Xander, where we talk about this, that, and everything in between. We're still trying to make it. We thought we had that internet going, and then something blew up in the neighborhood, and now the internet is back down again. So we had a rough issue today getting started. So I appreciate your patience for those of you that waited for us to tee things off. For the rest of you that are just popping in, I greatly appreciate you coming to the show. I want you guys to be able to review today. We're going to be talking about some outrageous claims, and we're going to go through a few of them today. And while we go through a few of them, I actually had a chance to observe some of these, and some of these I kind of want to tear into the response respectfully, though. But they all make sense. They're a little bit meaningful for those of you that follow us on the show. Make sure that you like and subscribe. I should probably put that up there. Make sure that you guys like and subscribe. Make sure that you guys remember to join a membership. Follow us on YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter. TikTok has been banned in the United States, so we're probably not going to do too much more stuff with TikTok going forward unless Trump changes the way things are going. We still have a TikTok account, but we're not able to stream on TikTok, so we're not able to be seen on TikTok. So be that as it may, since we're here, oh yes, remember, for everyone here on Twitch and Twitter and YouTube, you guys can click the link, and if you want to be on the show and get your 9 tails in, you want to click the link, approve the mic, approve the camera, and when you do that, it will bring you into the show live, where you will be able to say what you want to say in line with the topic. Or if you want to start up a straw man topic in addition to the main topic, we can do that as well. As long as it is an appropriate topic, we will be able to iron those out. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get teed off with some of today's comments. We're going to start off a little bit light, and then we're going to start getting into the deep stuff.
My boyfriend's beautiful and I'm not. Me, I'm 19 and my boyfriend is 23. We just got into a relationship. It's been a month. We met on Bumble and in the first few weeks of our relationship, I never felt insecure until one of my male friends pointed out saying, "You pulled a guy out of your league," which kinda made me question my own looks. My boyfriend never ever made me feel that way. He's such a wonderful person and always complimented me saying I look beautiful. He repeatedly says you're so cute, and also one of my female friends also told me he's better looking compared to you, which made me more insecure. I'm 5.5 dusky, have a decent facial feature, I'm a mid-decent body but not skinny. My boyfriend is 5.9 medium skin tone guy with good facial features and very sweet. I just started feeling insecure about my looks, skin tone, my weight. I don't know about his type, but I know he liked skinny, whereas I'm definitely not. He's really nice to me, very into me, and so am I, but I don't know how to deal with my own insecurities. The way I feel will affect our relationship. I'm willing to work on myself and be the best he deserves, but while I work on myself, how do I deal with my own thoughts? What if I'm not his type, or what if he's not attracted to me?
Okay, so let me stop there and then pause this one right here. I just want to jump up and say that yeah, when it comes to that particular question, ma'am, you are supposed to be proud of yourself. And I know that women say that men are supposed to accept them for who they are and what they look like, and when a man does, the women beat themselves up over it. And you shouldn't have to beat yourself up over it. You should be proud of the way you look. He doesn't have any complaints about you. He's not telling you that you're fat or too skinny. He's not telling you that you're too ugly. He's not comparing you to Shrek or Cruella de Vil. So if he's happy with who you are, you should be happy with yourself. Your friend is jealous that you've got a good man and she doesn't have that. Even if she has a man, she might actually be single and bitter, and she's trying to make you feel bad about the boyfriend that you've got. And you should actually be proud of yourself. Low self-esteem dictates that you would immediately take a compliment as a negative reaction. So even if somebody tells you that you scored way above what you were expected to score, the fact is you should be proud of yourself that you have a catch, that you have a higher valued individual that wants you. But let's be real, all women select a man that is better than her in every way. She tries to find a man that is perceivably taller, stronger, more financially successful, more stable, more resources, more intelligence, more connections, larger network than what she has. Because if he doesn't have that, he's not valuable to her. So every woman gets a man that's out of her league. No women, or not none, but very few women actually want a man that is in their league, because a man that is in your league is a man that can give you what you can give yourself. And you still get a little bit of a come up on that, because now your responsibilities become his responsibilities, which means you're free from responsibility, because everything that you used to take care of on your own, now your boyfriend or your husband takes care of. So just being able to have a partner that takes the stress off your plate is an uplift. But if you have a partner that not only takes the stress off your plate, but improves your standard of living, that's a massive uplift. And all women look for that massive uplift. Very few women look for just somebody that's on her. We're going to struggle together, like Blackstreet used to say back in the 90s. Take your troubles and my troubles and put them together, and we can get through these troubles together. That's what Blackstreet used to say back in the 90s. Now, today, we're not saying it. Now, today, it is he must be able to take care of all of your responsibilities and all of his responsibilities, and be responsible for the both of you, while giving the woman an allowance for the woman to go and entertain herself while the woman has no responsibility. That is the average woman's mentality. And that is the wrong mentality to have. You were supposed to be a partner. So whatever he's in the thick of, you're supposed to be in the thick of it with him. If he has to build a house, he's not supposed to build it by himself. Every other brick he lays down for that foundation, you are supposed to lay the other brick. Every other board that he puts on the wall, you are supposed to put up the other wall. Every shingle he puts on the roof, you are supposed to put up the other shingle. Every solar panel he puts on top of the shingles, you are supposed to put on the other solar panel. You are supposed to hold the ladder so that he can get up there, and he's supposed to hold the ladder so that you can get down. He is supposed to keep you safe, but you're supposed to also keep him safe. So the fact that it is a selfish position, that your low self-esteem is definitely going to negatively impact your relationship, because it is going to make him feel unappreciated. It is going to make him feel less valued and less respected, because you don't listen to what he's telling you. He's telling you how proud of having you he is, and you are ignoring his feelings and listening to people that are not even in your relationship. Focus on your husband, focus on your boyfriend. Your goal is to make him happy. And if you're doing that with little effort, put more effort into making sure that he knows, because that way he can be happy and you can be happy with him. That is the best way for you to be successful. So let's go ahead and move on to the next question here.
Do girls really value a good guy over a good-looking guy?
Uh No. And ladies, if you disagree, please chime in. Do you prefer a good guy, the one that is nice to you, not a guy that spends a bunch of money on you? We're not talking about sugar daddies. We're talking about a guy that is polite, respectful, and genuine to you. Do you prefer that over an attractive guy, like, say, Chris Brown, or, you know, Drake, or, Quavo, or, Mike Tyson, or Ray Rice, or OJ Simpson, or Bill Cosby, or Will Smith? I can keep going. I can keep going. Do you prefer a guy that respects you and treats you kindly, or do you prefer the attractive man? I'm going to tell you from a man's perspective that women, more often than not, when they're dealing with lust, they prefer an attractive man. And when they're dealing with greed, they prefer to have a rich man. They very rarely care about the man that they need, which is the man that puts her first and does everything he can to make her successful. They more often than not focus on their personal desires. So they will keep the financial status of the ugly dude with money, but they will have emotional relationships with the other people that they want to be with, and sometimes have affairs with those people, or have an argument and break up, and we're on a break now, and then go and sleep with somebody else and then come back and let's get back together now that you've finished satisfying your personal desires. But very rarely do you have a scenario where the Shrek of the relationship has the princess. Very, very rarely do you see the beast with the Barbie. Very rarely do you see the homeless guy with the model. It just doesn't happen. It doesn't happen. Women are in the 70s and the 60s and the 50s used to take a guy and build him up. You take a guy with potential. If he's washing your windows at the traffic light, then she can help him get a business where he's washing windows at a skyscraper, where he's making thousands of dollars an hour washing windows 52,000 feet in the air, instead of getting paid $5 at a traffic light washing windows, and potentially getting arrested for impeding the flow of traffic. So the fact is that women in the modern times do not invest in their men like a stock option. Men back in the 70s and 60s and 50s, y'all remember that old saying, behind every strong man was a strong woman. Behind every strong man now is his dog. That's it. The women are not there. The women are not backing up their men. They're not supporting their men. They're not providing anything to their man. They are really just there to receive. Now, there are some good women out there. There are some good women that will be a partner. There are some women where their man will get their legs blown off and she'll carry him on a walk on the beach. There are some good women out there. I'm not going to say that there are zero good women out there, but the largest majority of the single women that are really negatively impacting the dating pool and corrupting the good men that would give everything they can to a woman, those women are women that are not interested in being girlfriends or wives. They're interested in having casual sex with random men and then being provided for by random men with no commitment to any of the men. And then when they're in their 30s, they think about settling down because they've had fun. They've rode all the rides in the fair. They've sampled all the models on the lot. And now they want to settle down with a brand new no miles scenario when they're crashed. It's not going to work that way. There are some women that if your attitude and behavior changes by the time you're 35, you might find a partner. But the fact is that at 30 or 35 years old, all of the best years of your life, you threw it at the game and you left it in the streets. And the man that would have gave you all the best years of his later life after he's made himself financially successful, he doesn't get the benefit from the best parts of you. The best parts of you used and abused, but the best parts of his financial stability, his security, his stocks and bonds and mutualities, his ability to leave you with an inheritance, to leave you with trust, to leave you with some type of security after he passes, all of that he built until you were 35, you weren't there for none of that, but you benefit for it after the fact. And you don't, the ladies, you do not think about, how do I show him how valuable he is, since he put in all this work and now I get to benefit from it. And if you ladies just change your mentality and just really aim towards trying to make sure that the man that you choose knows through your actions, efforts, and words that he is the most important person in your life, then you would have happy relationships at 35, 40, 50 years old. Men wouldn't be so quick to go and run and grab a 20-year-old. They go and grab the 20-year-olds because the 20-year-olds are not emotionally damaged. They go and grab the 20-year-olds because the 20-year-olds are not used up with hysterectomies, tubes cut and tied, talking about I can't have no more kids. My kids are all in college. They're not talking about all hope is lost, accept me as I am. The 20-year-olds are saying, hey, nothing's happened to me yet. Let's make something happen. And that's the ones that the men are able to have 5, 7, 10 kids with and build a business and start a life with. So if you really want to compete with the next generation at 30, 40, 50 years old, you need to start behaving the way you used to behave before the first 3 boyfriends messed up your mentality towards men. That's the best way to do it. If you could think about how much effort you put into your first love, your second love, and your third love, and then start acting like that for the 154th person that you've become attracted to, you would see better odds. Just saying. Let's go ahead and look at the next question.
Should emotional adultery be grounds for divorce?
Okay, so I think the 1950s, 1955 is when they passed a law where you don't really need reasonable grounds for divorce. You just need to not want to be in the marriage anymore. And typically, I think the difference between having grounds for an uncontested divorce versus just parting ways is that if you guys have mutual unreconcilable differences, you guys can get a divorce. So if you want out of the marriage and he wants out of the marriage, that's it. It's done. But if he doesn't want out of the marriage, but you want out of the marriage, usually the judge is going to make you guys separate and try to work it out first, marriage counseling, and see if the marriage can be salvaged. And then if it can't, then, the judge might grant the divorce. You ask about the emotional adultery, and women do that a lot more than men because men are physical. So men are more likely to have a sexual encounter with another woman before they start having emotional dating thing on the side kind of thing, because their emotional fulfillment should come from their girlfriend if their girlfriend actually cares about them. So when you think about it, more often than not, the women are going to have the male friend, the best friend that she's emotionally cheating on, because and let's identify emotional adultery. It is when your feelings and desire for another person is greater than the feelings and desire for the person you're in a relationship with, to the magnitude where you're thinking about and wanting to have engagements with this other person instead of your partner. That's when you're dealing with. So like if your friend is on a back burner and you forgot about them because you're in this relationship, that's not adultery. But if you're looking forward to leaving your husband or your boyfriend so that you can go and bring lunch to some guy at work, that's emotional adultery. If you're canceling on your boyfriend or your husband so that you can go hang out with your male best friend and you guys are holding hands and laying head on shoulders and emotional bonding, that's emotional adultery. If you're too close with your tennis coach, that's emotional adultery. So when you're dealing with emotional adultery, and this can happen, another emotional adultery is when you are able to pass pet names back and forward and have a strong emotional bond with somebody on social media, that's emotional adultery. When you're able to talk about love and high levels of trust and value in somebody else online, that's emotional adultery. And in those scenarios, yeah, the relationship is dead because your heart left the person that you were committed to and went to somebody else. And once it left, even though you're still in the relationship, you're not in the relationship. You checked out, but you're still here. So you're still on the clock, but you're not working anymore. That's what's going on. And yeah, you should be fired for that. So when it comes down to emotional adultery, I strongly believe that men, you should divorce the girlfriends and wives that you are with when you catch them having too much entertainment with another man, because you are supposed to be number one in their life. And after you comes her family. So if she ain't got no time for her family, she definitely ain't got no time for no male best friend, because you, then her the rest of her family, and then her friends. And it should be a female best friend that comes before a male best friend. So if her female best friend ain't talking to her as much as a male best friend, then that male best friend is sliding right on into being an affair, because men are physical. He's not there because it makes him happy. He's there because he's going to get them cheeks. So think about that. Let's move on to the next question here.
Should emotional adultery be grounds for divorce?
Yeah, we just covered that one. Let's hit the next question.
Should emotional adultery...
Come on now. Let's see. Here we go.
We have been dating for almost 1.5 years now.
All
we
right.
love each other. She has a guy best friend who is also 22, and for the last 8 months, I had a feeling that he likes her and makes moves on her knowing she has a boyfriend. And during the last 2 months, I became sure of it because of the things he does. I confronted my girlfriend about this and told her that her best friend likes her and she should stay away from him. She says I am delusional and making shit up. There is no way that's possible. We are just really close friends and all that stuff. After having to go through a few more incidents, I couldn't stand it anymore and told her to talk to him or I will talk to him, and it might not end with just a talk. She said, okay, and talked to him. The best friend came to me to apologize. And while doing that, when I told him the things he did, he just said, that's how I act towards my friends, and you are making it up in your head. He also apologized a few times, but I did not get the feeling that he was really sorry from our talk. Then he goes on to talk to my girlfriend, saying your boyfriend will keep finding ways to blame me. He is delusional, and if you want, we can stop being friends. My girlfriend says no, and they cry together. Then she gave me the cold shoulder after she talked with him for 2 days. And she also told me I will not tell you what happens at my meetings with friends anymore. And when I asked why, she said that's the best solution for you to not get pissed off at anything my friends do. I was really heartbroken, but she did not care. She kept saying she was sadder because I talked to her best friend too harshly. I did not press the issue because we had exams in 2 days and we both needed to study. Today our exams were over, but she had to go to her family because of an emergency, so we couldn't talk. And today some random guy from our school asked me if I had broken up with my GF, and I said no, why? He said he saw my girlfriend holding hands and sitting closely with a guy at a cafe a few months ago and thought we might have broken up. I asked him, are you sure? He said, yeah. Then to confirm it, I showed him a photo of my girlfriend, and he said, yeah, I know what she looks like. Then I felt like I should show him her best friend's photo too, so I did. And he said, yeah, that's the guy. I am really lost. I don't know what to do. I can't talk to her about it because she has so much on her plate because of the family emergency, and she is away with her family. I don't want to add to her problems right now, so I am pretending to be okay in our texts. But I feel like shit, and I have been staring at a blank wall and drinking alcohol for the last 2 hours. I really don't know what to do.
Wow. Well, bro, you're in a situation where you got to break up with the girl because you're not gonna stop feeling like shit. That's why you got to break up with the girl. Some people are gonna say, "Oh no, you should go talk to her and you should work it out." This is the thing. I just went down this rant right before this happened. Real quick before I go into this particular rant, a shout out to those of you that are watching us on Twitch. I see you guys popping in. I really appreciate y'all coming in. Omni81, Red Void. I really appreciate you guys for coming in. There's a few more of you guys. I can't remember everybody. Dick, Jet, Silly Emma, Liberty Twitcher. I can't remember everybody, but I appreciate you guys for coming in. And back to this scenario here that is very, very reckless. Look, the guy she's got as the best friend, she has very strong emotional attachment to, and that very strong emotional attachment is far beyond your relationship, to the magnitude that when you upset her male best friend, she's upset with you. So that means his feelings are more important than your feelings, which means that she values him more than she values you. That's a red flag in and of itself. They don't have to have a sexual relationship outside of your relationship. That emotional connection is the one that's grounds for a divorce, because she's valuing another man over you. You are supposed to be the primary. That is not good. She's deflecting by telling you that you're delusional. She's deflecting by making it seem like it's your fault. But then she's also manipulating you in the situation by leading you to believe that how dare you complain about how you feel like this man is being treated better than you are, when he is. Fact is that she's not prioritizing you as a girlfriend. She's young. She's 22. So she doesn't know any better. She's going to learn. But she's probably going to learn from the next man, because you're not going to stick around. And then she's going to blame you for the fact that you guys broke up. She's going to call you insecure. She's going to blame your insecurities on childhood traumas. And the fact of the matter is that it is a red flag. If the shoe was on the other foot, let's ask the ladies. If you was dating a man and he had a female friend that he was treating better than you, would you be okay with that? Most women would say no. If he had a female friend that he valued more than he valued you. Would you be okay with that? Most women would say no. This means that a female with a male friend that she values more than her boyfriend or her husband is not okay. That is uniformly speaking. So, not taking shots at her to take shots at her. I'm just saying, if the roles were reversed and this was a dude treating a female this way, all the women would be jumping on a podcast like burn this guy at the stake. But because we have a lady doing this to a man, they're gonna say that the man is insecure, he's an incel, that he doesn't have the confidence of a man to allow her to have her cake and eat it too. But no woman wants to be the other woman in a relationship with the man. So why is the man being in a relationship as the other man when he's supposed to be the primary man in his relationship with his woman? It's unacceptable. Now, when it comes to his behavior to tell the girl that, oh, we should break up, bro, fact is that if the best friend is talking about us breaking up, then that means that they're in a relationship. He shouldn't be talking about breaking up if they're not in a relationship. He should be able to say with respect that he values his friend so much that he does not want to be the X factor in the relationship. And as a result, he should respectfully say, you know what? I'm going to keep my distance since my excessive affection to my friend is negatively impacting my friend's relationship. I want my friend to be happy. I don't want my friend to be unhappy because of me. And making my friend's partner unhappy makes my friend unhappy. So I'm going to stop that. That is what good friends do. Even the female friends, it's like, I don't like him, but I'm not going to piss him off because he's going to piss you off and I don't want to see you upset. So as a male friend, that's like, hey, deal with it. We're close. Nah, that's not the case. That's not a good position. So the girlfriend that values this man more than she values you is not good for you, bro. So you got to walk away from that one and say, nah, I'm okay. I'm okay. Now, I understand there's never a good time to break up. I understand that. But I also understand that if she is not willing to put distance between her and her friend and redirect that emotional attention from him on to you, then you are going to have to redirect your attention from her because you cannot be second tier when you are supposed to be on the throne. So this means that even though she's going through a tough time, dragging out the relationship while you are the only person hurt, this is what I say is unhealthy for good men to be in this type of relationship. When your feelings are hurt, you are being emotionally damaged by the engagement that you are currently allowing yourself to be in, and the person that you're in this relationship with does not care and refuses to change, refuses to improve. That's when I say get out. Otherwise, I would say, go talk to your partner, try to work it out, try to fix it, try to improve your relationship. Because if you're not communicating with them, but you are disdained or hold reserves of discontent because things aren't changing, that says go and talk to them. But you've already voiced your opinions. You see what the problem is. You made the problem known. You've even addressed the problem personally. And still the problem exists to the magnitude that she's treating you like shit because she doesn't like the fact that you corrected her and him about their engagements with one another. Not a now female is going to allow no female friend to lock fingers with her boyfriend, lay her head on his shoulder and give him kisses on the cheek, talking about something. That's how I treat all my friends. So you're not supposed to be sitting over here allowing the female to have that type of emotional engagements with this man to the magnitude that even your friends is like, did y'all break up? Because I seen her acting way too close with another man. That's not the mentality that she's supposed to have. So, bro, if you're that depressed that you're chugging beer, staring at a wall, not knowing you're not even playing Madden, bro. You're not even trying to get this off your chest by getting you in some Call of Duty or some Perfect Dark or some Siphon Filter or Ghost Recon or nothing like that. You're not even trying to GTA 5 your way into getting over the situation. You are literally just staring at a wall, drinking beers, crying by yourself that type of pain, women break up with men when they have that type of pain. They don't even come and talk to you about what their problem is. They just let it fester until that type of pain gets their homegirl to tell them, girl, you should leave him. He ain't squat. And that's what they end up doing 90% of the time. And some men average it out because it's 70 to 90% of the time. And the average out between the two is about 80%. But typically 90% of the time, 90% of the educated women, 70% of the uneducated women, and the average between the two is about approximately 80 to 85% of women walk out on men. And the other 30% are the men walking out on the women. And this is why, because he doesn't like the way he's being treated. Whereas in other scenarios, the women are leaving because they're just not unsatisfied. They're completely unsatisfied with their expectations not being met. So the expectations of the two parties are different. If the things that she wanted from you, you did not provide to her, then she would say, oh, that's not right. And she would be mad and say that you're not a good man because the things that she wants you to give her, you're not giving to her. So the things that she's not doing for you, that's not good enough. And you're going to have to drop her because, universally speaking, you work for the best interests of your partner, and your partner is supposed to work for the best interests of you. So if you tell your partner what is in your best interest, your partner is supposed to recognize that and apply it. Now, if she's going to guilt trip you and make you feel sad because you stood up for yourself, you might as well leave her, bro, because down the line, she's doing this at 22. By 28, she's going to make you feel bad like it's your fault that she cheated on you with 3 guys at the same time on a recording. And it's not your fault, bro. It's not all your fault, because whatever it is that you allowed to happen for that to happen is part of why it happened. But at the same time, she consciously chose to do it. So primarily it's her fault. There is reasonable liability for both sides. But truth is that, dude, you got to get out before it gets that far. Because how long are you going to allow this situation to happen before you and her have this unexpected argument over something extremely insignificant? And instead of you guys making up, she's going to go run and cry on her best friend's shoulders. And then he's going to give her the D. And then she's going to come back and apologize to you because she was overwhelmed and she doesn't know what came over her. And, oh, she's sorry. But he hit it, though, which is what he's waiting for, that opportunity. So give him that opportunity. Break up with her. Let her go to him. Let him be the rebound and move on. Find you a woman that will give you your undivided attention that you need. That's the best thing for you. Let's go ahead and check out the next one.
What is first message etiquette? As a 30-year-old female, I often tend to send the first message as soon as I match with a guy, but I feel like my messages are honestly pretty lackluster. What kind of messages should I be sending as a first message? I always read threads on here about guys asking what kind of messages to send women, but never the other way around.
Well, that's because women don't make the first move. Usually women just sit there and wait for men to show up. And because women get approached more than men do, women spend more time rejecting men than being rejected by men. So women don't actually know how to approach men. They just know how to reject men. They accept the ones that meet their desires, but they don't actually take the first steps into finding out if this man is the one that she really needs to achieve her goals in life. So really, actually, women would be more successful in relationships instead of accepting a guy that's wasting the most money on her, for her to actually go out and seek the guy that will actually make the right decisions that she would want him to make, and then aim for the same stuff that she's trying to aim for, not just line her pockets with gifts and free travel and lobster dinner when she's normally eating macaroni and cheese and miso soup. You know what I'm saying? Miso soup and Ritz crackers. You know, you got to really be honest. So when it comes down to what's the right question to ask a guy on first opening icebreaker question on a dating platform or a social media platform, a lot of men put more effort into their profiles than women. Women put more effort into their profile photo. Men put more effort into their background. So go through the photo, go through the profile first, and all the questions he answered. And in there's going to be some things like what he likes and doesn't like versus who he is and what he does. Ignore his occupation and ignore his income if it's posted. You want to focus on his personal desires and then you want to focus on what kind of woman he's looking for, and then you want to see what kind of man he thinks he is. After that, then when you go to make your first comment to this person, your first comment should first identify what you like about his profile, because every profile is going to be different. You do not like every profile for the exact same reason. If you like the way he looks, what about it? What facial features did you like? Was it the outfit that he was wearing? The location he took the photo in? Was it a specific shirt that he had on like picture 3 out of 5? And compliment that. Compliment whatever made you attracted to that profile to reach out to him. That should be the beginning of your opening statement. I like such and such from your profile photo, or I like such and such from your profile bio. Then you continue the statement with either asking questions about unanswered questions on the bio, because you do have some people who put a lot of effort into portions of their bio, but don't put a lot of effort into other questions of their bio. If there are certain questions in their bio that wasn't answered that you actually are interested in, you would ask about that question. This helps you get to know them. Then you are able to continue following through with the question. Now, another thing that you guys can do is you can shuffle this deck. And this is the deck that I was telling you guys before, the Dating Assassin game. If you buy this, it's $29. There's a video on my podcast that shows you where to go to get it. And if you get this deck of cards, it's 150 cards. And I guarantee you, if you take that deck of cards and just shuffle the deck, pull out a question, and make that your first question, 9 times out of 10, it's a very, very delicate question, which means that the first question you ask them is going to be deep, and they're going to have to give you a very deep response, which gives you guys a very deep and compelling conversation to follow up with that. And as they respond, you can go find more complicated questions, because if they're a short answer kind of person, you want a long, in-depth answer. Go and find another question that's a lot more personal. Throw that up there. And then by the time they finish going through, they're going to do tit for tat. They're going to ask you a question, but because they don't have this deck of cards, they're probably not going to be able to ask you as good of a question as you're asking them. Either way, you are going to be able to touch base with a scenario where you're actually going to know more about this guy before you get a chance to meet him, because you're asking hard-hitting, in-depth questions, but you're doing it from a respectful fashion. So always remember, in making the first move, the first thing you have to do is be polite and respectful to the man about it, because men are not used to women being assertive. And there's a difference between being assertive and being overbearing and controlling. We don't want overbearing and controlling, but we do want the confidence in a woman to actually make a move and not just stand there hopelessly waiting on the man to dictate every single thing, while we're dealing with the type of woman that doesn't want to be told what to do. So you got to find a middle ground there. You don't want to be told what to do, but you don't want to do anything. You can't autopilot in a dating game. You have to put in effort. So that effort means make the first move. Find something that you like about his bio, compliment it, and then ask him something that is not written in the bio. Ask him about something. If he doesn't have pets listed, ask him about pets. If you have pets, make sure you ask him about pets, because if you guys start dating, your pets are going to impact him. If you have children, ask him about children, especially. See if he wants children. See if he wants more children, if he has children. How would he feel about children that aren't his? Stuff like that. You really want to get in there. So your first question on your first contact date, always with a guy, you want to always ask him something that really shows that you, one, care about the effort he put into his profile, and two, you let him know that you want to get to know more about him. Because otherwise, what do you do for fun? Waste of time question. Waste of time question. What's your favorite meal? What's your favorite hobby? What's your favorite uh, 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 thing to do? What's your favorite day of the week? What's your favorite colors? It's wasteful questions. And these are the most common questions asked anyway. What's your zodiac sign? It's waste of questions. But what's your 20-year plan to retirement? That's a pretty good question to ask. You know, uh, what's your thoughts on marriage versus long-term dating and living together? That's a pretty good question. How do you feel about in-laws? Do you feel like the in-laws should fend for themselves, or are you the kind of person that takes care of your family members, your in-laws? So if my mom and dad got sick and had to come and live with us, would you be okay with that, or would you prefer to put them in a nursing home? That's the kind of questions that would be really good to ask on a first date, because these are the types of things that after a year, 2 years, 3 years, 5 years into a relationship, these are the kind of things that negatively impact the future of the relationship. If you're dating somebody that's a gamer, do you play video games all the time, or is it like every now and again? And when I say all the time, I mean like 10 to 12 hours a day, 5 days a week, or is it something that you do for like 2 or 3 hours once or twice a month? Like, really be specific about that, because if you're dating a guy that spends a lot of his time on video games, but you would prefer for him to spend a lot of his free time with you, it's going to anger you eventually that he gives more attention to his video games than he gives to you. So if you think about these things, because you know what kind of society we're in right now, that most of the generation that's 20 years old, 20 to 25 years old, is like 60% of their life is video games. So are you into video games? Because if you're not, you need to find out, how deep is he into these video games? Does he have like multiple profile personalities and avatars? And what games does he play? Do you like those games? Are you interested in trying to learn how to play those games if you don't already play those games? Because that's going to determine if you're able to bond with them. So really, you can find some really interesting questions about, and asking them what they do for work. That's a horrible question to ask too. He makes enough money to pay for his PlayStation online and his Xbox Live account. He makes enough money to pay for the DLCs that he's got on his game. He's got enough money to pay for the premium membership on the dating platform that he's talking to you on. Then it don't matter how much money he makes. It doesn't matter what he does for a living. What matters is how he treats you and how he prioritizes you. So you're supposed to be able to find out if he will prioritize you over the video game, and if he will treat you in the effective, compassionate, caring way that you want to be treated. Now, if you can find that out before you commit to the man, then you can get into a long-term relationship. What another good question that you can ask is, would he be willing to buy something that's expensive or invest? Think of something that men like video games, car parts, expensive cars. If he had $200,000, would he buy a Hellcat, or would he invest in Bitcoin? Like, if he had $750,000, would he buy a brand new house, or would he invest in Tesla? Like really, what, like, would you build a investment portfolio with $1 million if you had it, or would you start paying bills for your family and friends, and hooking people up with a little something here and there? Because the answer to that question is that if they're willing to take the money that they get and spend it before they take the money that they get and invest it so that they can spend the interest off of that principal, where the million is always there, then you understand that they're probably more wasteful than they are responsible. And then you have to ask yourself, do you want a financially irresponsible person or a financially responsible person? So it doesn't matter how much money he makes, because if he blows it all at the casino, he's still broke. He could be $1 million a year, but if he's only living on a $10,000 a year income because the other $990,000 is lost, then he's still broke. But I mean, if he's $50,000 a year with $10,000 extra on the side, and he ain't struggling for nothing, everything's coming in at clockwork. As soon as the milk runs out, somebody's knocking on the door, dropping off a delivery from Walmart. You ain't never missing nothing. You want dependability. You got to ask the right questions to find out if this person is dependable. So what he does for a living doesn't matter. How much money does he make? Doesn't matter. Does he own his own stuff? Doesn't matter. Because if you guys get into a really good relationship, the first question you're going to ask is, are you the kind of person that moves in with your partner, or do you move your partner into your establishment? Because that's a really good question to ask. When you guys become serious with one another, who's going to sacrifice their standard of living? Who's going to give up their home? If I was to lose my job, would you pay for me? If you were to lose your job, would you expect me to pay for you? That's an even better question. Are you self-sufficient or independent? And I'm going to tell you something. If you're independent, you are not deserving of a relationship. If you are self-sufficient, you are deserving of a relationship. What is the difference between the two? Independence will sacrifice the relationship for their own personal wants, needs, and desires. Self-sufficient can do for themselves, but will do for their family, as well as allow their families to do for them. So, are you independent or are you self-sufficient? Because if you're independent, you're not worthy of a relationship. You're a lone wolf, and lone wolves are not pack ready. Relationships are codependency, and codependency is pack ready. And if you're pack ready, then you are tribal, which means that you are not focusing on your own individual best interests. You are focusing on the best interests of everybody else in your tribe, which means that you're focusing on the success of everybody else in your tribe. But if you're a lone wolf, you will sacrifice your best friend for your worst enemy because it benefits you. And independence is not good for a relationship. So for those ladies that are Miss Independent, really rethink your position, because truth be told, that is not healthy for a relationship. And at 35 years old, when you say I'm independent, you just dropped 3 grenades in your lap. Just being honest. When you tell a man that you are independent, you are telling a man that you have no interest in committing in a relationship, because independence requires you to be off doing your own thing by yourself, making your own decisions for yourself, and not doing nothing or caring anything about anyone else around you. And that's not what a relationship is. A relationship leads to a marriage, and a marriage is codependency, where you depend on him to do the things that you need done, and he depends on you to do the things that he needs done. And that codependent, cohesive, symbiotic relationship requires you to depend on each other. So most men do not want an independent woman. They want a self-sufficient woman, where if it ain't working right while I'm not there, that you can handle it till I get back. But they don't want an independent woman who, Miss, I don't need you, I can do this by myself kind of thing. No, nobody wants that. Nobody wants that. That's bad for everybody. Why am I here if you don't need me, if you don't want me? Why am I here then? Because if you don't want me here, you don't need me here, I serve no purpose here outside of your personal entertainment, then actually what you're saying is that you're using the man that you tell those things to for the thing, whatever subsidy that you're getting from him. You're using him for that subsidy because you have no interest in anything else, because you're independent. And you're more than self-sufficient. You are independent. But self-sufficient means that you can hold the fort down until backup arrives. Independent doesn't have a kingdom. So let's think about that. Let's move on to our next question.
How do I get this guy to kiss me? I am 19 and I've been talking with this guy who's 27 for about 6 months and going out for 3, but I don't know how to make this next step. We've texted every day but only started going out in the last couple of months because I'm back in town. It's been fun, he's sweet and good to talk to, but he still hasn't told me I'm pretty or made any sort of physical move besides a hug. I can't figure out why. He asks me to hang out, picks me up, and pays for everything, but he's made no attempt to kiss me or hold my hand or anything. I don't know what to do. Does he just not like me?
I wouldn't say that, because why? Okay, so real quick. Logically and rationally, man ain't wasting no money on no woman he don't like. Okay? He will spend money on his mama, his sister, his cousin, because he got to. They could piss him off to high heaven, and he will make sure that they're okay because he is duty bound to look after family. He'll look after his kids because he's duty bound to look after his kids. But a girl he don't know, Miss Ma'am, if he is paying for you, he putting gas in his car, he driving across town to come get you, he's driving you back across town to the event, he's paying for the whole event, he's driving you all the way back across town back to your house, then he got to drive himself back across town back to his house, because he's not even trying to hint that he gonna stay over the night by your house. He wants you more than you want yourself. He's showing you through his actions, but he's respecting you as a person also. And that's something that women aren't used to. Women believe that a man is only going to try to get into her pants, but that's not actually the case. Some men actually value women, and those men that value women want a woman that is actually going to be valuable, which means that you're not going to be quick to put out, which means I should not be making a pass at you. I should wait almost half a year before I start making a pass at you. Make sure that all of the checks and balances are there before I make that pass on you. Because truth be told, that as a good man looking for a good, respectable woman, I'm looking for a woman that's more reserved, which means that you're not going to be forthcoming. With that being said, now, since that's going to be his train of thought from the perspective of men, the thing is that since he's not going to make the first move and you want the first move done, first person accountability. You are not trying to make him kiss you. If you want to kiss him, you go kiss him. That's what you do. I understand that a lot of times women are not about that, first move kind of thing. But what men typically do when they want to kiss a girl is while they're hugging them, they might give them a little kiss on the cheek. Try that. Matter of fact, after you give him the kiss on the cheek, then you kind of move 6 to 8 inches away and just stare into his eyes a little bit and see if he moves in for a kiss. Will Smith told you guys that on that movie Hitched. You come 90, let them come the other 10. So if you kissed him on the cheek, you let him know that you're interested in kissing just by the fact that you kissed him on the cheek. Then you hover near his face, not enough to smell his bad breath, but enough to give him the idea that if he just moves in just a little bit more, you guys got a kiss. If he was holding out on a kiss, once you kiss him and leave yourself open for the kiss, he will kiss you back. Now, if, of course, you're in the situation where he throws you to the ground and throws dirt on you and runs away, that's a little bit different. But more often than not, because that actually shows confidence that you actually make a actual move, because women don't make moves. Women treat chess like the man is playing both sides of the board, and she's only going to be on the winning side. So you're going to keep spinning this board until she wins, but she's never going to make a move. It doesn't work that way. You have to make a move. So if you want to see things progress, it's not progressing as fast as you would like to progress, even though he's taking it slow. You should make the first move, and you should be able to engage him in some way, shape, or form so that he knows that it's okay to progress the relationship just a little bit further. All right, let's go ahead and try the next question here.
My boyfriend is 35. He was the desperate / creepy guy in every woman's DMs. How do I at 30 years old move past this? We've been together for 6 months. A girl I work with showed me messages from him on Instagram, basically messages along the lines of, "You're so sexy. You're perfect. When are you going to let me take you on a date? ECT." He also did the same thing to her friend and someone else. Basically, he just went after anyone and everyone. And the women he reached out to wouldn't reply, but he kept trying. We were not dating when he did this. It was the months leading up to us dating, and he had stopped when we got together, at least with the women I know of. But the issue that I am having is that it disgusts me how desperate he was in the messages. And it disgusts me that he would tell all of these women how amazing they are, and I have to basically beg for a single compliment. He also never asked me on dates, but in the messages to other women, he would be asking them multiple times on dates. He had put so much effort and gave so much attention to all of these women. But as a boyfriend, he puts in 0 effort. I don't understand that, and I don't know how to process what exactly it is that I'm feeling. Even though he did it before we got together, and the past is the past, I can't help but to look at him differently and feel some sort of resentment for not ever giving me the same level of attention. I don't know if I need advice or just a vent, but advice is welcome. Thank you for listening.
You're welcome. So first off, men have to try really hard to get the attention of a woman. So when you say that he was going all in with these women that he was trying to get to communicate with him on the social media app, and that's what men have to do. Men have to swallow their rejection and get back out there and try it again on a regular basis, regardless of how many times they fail. And they desperately, because men want companionship, they desperately say whatever a girl wants to hear to try to get a response. They put so much effort into trying to get the girl to acknowledge them. Then after they get the girl to acknowledge them, then they have to put in so much effort to try to keep the girl. But the effort that he has to put into getting the girl is not the effort that he should have to put into keeping the girl if the girl chose him the way he picked her after all of the other no's that he got. So your concern is the fact that he's not putting all this effort into showing you how important you are to him. Now, the question that I'm going to ask you, because you have self-victimizing here, how much effort have you shown him if you know how desperately he was on the social media platforms to be recognized by a woman? How much effort did you put into showing him that he is valuable to you? I'm going to tell you, first person accountability, the way you want him to treat you is the way you should start treating him. You should go overboard with making sure that he is valued, that he is appreciated, that he feels loved, that he feels respected. You want to rearrange your schedule to give him time. You want to make excuses to put in effort to complete mediocre tasks with him. You want to not just show up and see what he's doing and make sure that he ain't messing with nobody else. You want to be able to show up and surprise him with his favorite activities. You want to surprise him with like even new activities, anything really. But you want to put effort into your man so that your man steps up and puts more effort into you. So if you feel some kind of way because he put so much effort into all of these women until he got with you and then he stopped talking to these other women, you need to put more effort into him to get him to show you something other than, because let's be honest, he had to put in all this effort to get you to tell him yes. So if he had to put all this effort into getting you to tell him yes, when are you going to put extra effort into your man so that your man feels valued by you? Because that's how you fix your relationship. Just making him change and make him do more, try harder, and always have to prove himself to you in a relationship is not going to benefit the relationship. It's going to benefit you, but it's not going to benefit the relationship. Reciprocation benefits the relationship. So as much effort that he put into getting into this relationship is as much effort you should put into keeping the relationship so that he can reciprocate with the same level of effort. That way you guys will be on the same playing field. So you're not doing more than him and he's not doing more than you. You guys are each in your own way doing everything you can to show the other person how valuable they are. So let's go ahead and move on to the next question here.
I feel like I've won the lottery. About 2 months ago, I downloaded Tinder, Bumble, Hinge, etc. I was getting some likes and matches but never felt any connections. I decided to buy Tinder Gold and just go haywire and swipe right to everyone. I wake up and have a few matches and feel kind of bad since they all dissolve. I go to work and there's one match I never texted. It's this girl let's call Vale. We matched and had pretty similar personalities and she was pretty funny. I also appreciated her looks and was like whoa. Fast forward a few weeks, we are talking and vibing well. We play Roblox most of the time and just text all day long. We make a date to the mall and the day is rapidly coming. I was deeply in love and would tease her with these Japanese paragraphs and delete them fast, and one day she caught it. I was frozen since it was a love confession. But she said that was the sweetest thing she'd ever read and said she loved me back. The date came and I was nervous. The first date was very fun and I felt as if I won the jackpot. At the end, I then asked her if she wanted to be my girlfriend. Drum roll. She said yes. That was the greatest moment of my life. I was just over the moon. Ever since then, we've gone on 7 dates, been to her house mostly every day, met her parents, spent time with them, played around with her dog, and pretty much have been seeing her 4 times out of a week. I never thought life would be so colorful and fun. I just wanted to express that anyone can get into a relationship. You just have to have the patience and/or work on yourself mentally and physically. I'm just super happy in life and couldn't ask for a better partner. Before this point, I was on a talking stage for 7 months with this girl who fell in love with someone else. It was a brutal point since I had met her parents at the time and her siblings, and for it to be thrown away for a better-looking guy hurt me mentally. This seems to be a common occurrence, and since I've been through it and had the worst summer of my life, I can try to give some advice if you guys ask. Just know it does and will get better. Even if you're in that sad stage weeks or months after heartbreak. Trust me, I cried every night and thought the world was over, but trust me, it'll get better. You just have to put effort into yourself.
That's actually some very good advice. I actually like that advice. What I can say is that is fantastic, but noticed that he had to get out there and upgrade to the premium membership and just keep swiping on all the potential matches that he matched with until somebody reflected upon him. Then he was able to make that match and get to know somebody. But the guys never give up, and that's the only way that guys can find happiness. If a guy just shells off and just stops looking, he's never going to find happiness. But you got to remember where you're looking at also plays a key factor into where you're going to find happiness. Because if you find somebody in your neighborhood, then you'll be able to have a close relationship with somebody in your neighborhood. If you're looking on dating sites that are on the other side of the planet, you can find a connection to somebody on the other side of the planet. But now you've got this 2,000, 3,000, 4,000 mile journey that you've got to make to get to that person. If you don't have the financial resources to travel back and forward, if that person is not willing to come back and you don't have enough money to fly them back, and you got to get them a visa of some sort or green card or some sort before you get them over here, there's going to be a lot more money you're going to have to pay for to get them to come to America. But if you find somebody that's in your city or in your state, then you're able to commute to them a lot easier than if you find somebody on the other side of the US where you have to fly to them and fly them to you. So really think about where you're looking when you're looking for the right person, but also make sure that you are paying attention to your non-negotiable expectations for behavior, because if you put that on your the forefront of your bio, if they meet your expectations, you will be happy. And that's the first part of happiness, is that you are first happy. Then you put in the effort to make your partner happy. It's not about you impressing your partner first, and then your partner is supposed to accept your happiness. No, you are supposed to make sure that you are being made happy by your partner, because as men, we're going to give them the happiness that they want. So the ladies have to put up the effort to show the men that they will be valued if that woman is picked. Because if the woman picks the man, she's going to get paid for. But will she show that man the love, appreciation, and value that he's looking for? We don't know. Because if we're not married, they ain't doing nothing. Then when we get married, they don't want to do the prenup because they want to be entitled to financially half of the institution. But if you sign that prenup where you say, contractually speaking, she is entitled to zero upon the request of divorce from her. There it is. And in that scenario, she if she wants a divorce, she leaves, but she's leaving and leaving everything on the table. Now, be that as it may, if you put those prenups up, she wants you for who you are, not what you have. She's still going to benefit for everything that you have, because you're still going to spend money on her. You're still going to take her places. You're still going to, do nice things for her. It's just that she is committing to not only be here for your money. And if she decides to walk out of your life, that she will walk out with the clothes on her back, not all your furniture in your house and everything like that. So just really think about that. All right, let's move on to our last question.
I left a note on a state trooper's windshield because he illegally parked in 2 handicapped spots at a gas station. He saw me and said I was lucky that he didn't write me a ticket for illegally touching police property. Is that even legal?
No. He was threatening people. Police lie to people on a regular basis. You're better than me because I'm handicapped. I would have pulled up, I would have blocked him in, and then I would have called the tow truck company to come and tow the police car. That's what I would have done. The other thing I would have done is I would have gotten out of my vehicle, took a picture of his license plate from a distance because you don't want them to draw down on you. And then I would have dialed 112, which is the other form of 911, and I would have went straight to dispatch because that's not readily used emergency phone number in the United States. And instead of me touching the police car, I would have notified dispatch that there was a car double parked in a handicap spot. I would not tell them it's a police car. I would just tell them there is a car double parked in a handicap spot and I am handicapped and I can't park in the spot. So my car is now blocking the flow of traffic because this police car is double parked in a handicap spot, but they don't know it's a police car. So when when dispatch hears, okay, there's a car in this parking lot that's double parked, it's blocking traffic, it's violate, they're gonna dispatch out to another police car. But guess what happens? When you give them that license plate, they run that VIN number, it's going to come back to a police car. So that's when dispatch is going to tell them to get out of the way. So that's the two ways that you could go about doing it. If he backed in and he's double parked and there's no other way for him to get out, you pull up and you block him, and then you call a tow truck because he's not supposed to be there like that. Then, because you don't have to move your car. There's no emergency there. You don't have to move your car, but you can report it. And let's be honest, guys, citizen's arrest does give you the right to hold any unlawful patron in place for violating a law. So if the cop car double parks in a handicap spot and they're positioning themselves in a way where they can't get out of that parking space without going through your car, you can pull up, turn your car off, put the hazards on, or leave the engine running, but make sure that you lock your door so that the police can't get in your car and move your car, and just sit there and wait for the tow truck to come and get this car and turn it in and take the pictures and submit them to everybody involved. And then you go the extra mile, because if the cop decides to get out and be an asshole about it, you're going to have to take pictures of the cop because they're not going to tell you their name and badge number all the time. And then you're going to make sure that you march down there to the police station, where most marked police cars have a 3 to 4 digit number somewhere on the roof or the side or the trunk of the car. And some of them even have it on the front bumper. You write that number down, write down a license plate, and keep 30 feet between you and the police officer so that he doesn't put his physical hands on you. And, report it, call it in. You can even request a supervisor. You can get his name and badge number from the supervisor. You can, if you want to call the police and tell them that it's a police car, you can do that too, and get them to send a supervisor down for this location so that the supervisor can come and talk to this man about him parking his car in an unlawful location. And then you can get his information and go down to internal affairs and file a complaint because you have police officers compromising the safe haven and rights and accessibility of disabled parties for non-police duty, which is outside of qualified immunity, which means that his cruiser can be impounded because he is not in active duty when he parks his cruiser in that handicap spot. So I would not go over and touch his police car. I would not go over and put a note on his car because he's doing something to the car. But I would say that since he's illegally parked and he's not acting in the attempts to enforce the law, then he is not covered by qualified immunity, and I would treat him like a citizen that is breaking the law. I would not let him out, and I would get his car towed. And so me, the tow company, the police officer's supervisor, and probably all of social media would be watching that police officer's behavior, because I would make sure that my car's not moving until he's ticketed and towed for illegally parking in that location. Because police officers are not above tickets, they're not above towing, and the consequence for parking in a handicapped spot is a ticket and a tow at the owner's expense. So I would do that. Now, keep in mind, they're going to make your life hell. Because when you enforce the law against police officers don't like that. So you're going to be on their hit list every time your vehicle is on the road. You're going to have 1 to 3 cruisers in eyesight of your vehicle, and whenever your vehicle just so happens to scrape the white line or scrape the yellow line, they're going to pull you over for swerving inside of a lane. You're going to get pulled over for everything under the sun. You're going to get pulled over because your mud flaps are dirty, because you pissed off a police officer. So if you want to piss off a cop, go for it, because it's well within our rights to enforce the law, because we we're duty bound in most states. It's called good faith laws in the United States. Go look them up. We are duty bound in most states to execute rightfully, justifiably, the law in a safe fashion. Now, that don't mean that we can hold down a police officer and point guns at them. That don't mean that we can threaten people's safety. But the thing called citizen's arrest, when we recognize that somebody is committing a crime, we have the right to hold them there for that crime until the proper officials come up to hold them responsible for that crime. So that parking is a civil infraction, but that parking infraction is constitutional of a fine of up to, I do believe, $250 and towing at the owner's expense. So if he's parking in two handicap spaces, so he should get a ticket for each parking space, or at least 1 ticket for double parking in a parking space, and that fine should be doubled, which means he should have a $500 fine for parking his car there, and then his car should get towed from that location because he's unlawfully parked there. And his supervisor should not stop that from happening. His supervisor should not only have him walk back to the station since he got his car towed, but pay the fine and pay to get the car out of the impound lot, because it wasn't the police department's instructions for him to post his car in 2 handicap spaces in any parking lot. So that's my recommendations for you with that. But I would never run up on a police officer. I would never run up on a police officer, because that's only going to get you shot. And if that pen and paper would have been mistaken to be a fully automatic Glock with a switch on it, which I don't understand how that happens, but they made a bag of Skittles and a cell phone look like an assault rifle. So, I mean, they can make an ink pen and a piece of paper look like a deadly weapon while the man's inside of the cruiser. So to keep yourself from being gunned down, don't ever approach the squad car. Talk to them from a distance, 10 to 20 feet away from the squad car, and make sure that you've got video and audio recording going, because you can record law enforcement in active duty in all 50 states. And just make sure that you call it in. So you want to have a body camera with you, and you want to have a cell phone with you, and you want to be, if you've got a second cell phone with you where you can live stream, have the body camera for data reasons, and have the phone call to call it in. You want to call it in and make sure that you let everybody know what's going on, what you see, and what you're experiencing. Because if they don't do anything about it, you can do something about it. There's always something that you can do. But you do not want to battle with a disgruntled police officer on the streets. I know it made you feel good and you was able to laugh and kiki that you gave the police officer a written warning, but he could slam you, break your jaw, knock 3 teeth out your mouth, put you in the back of a squad car and dump you off somewhere else and call that police duty. You know, you got to survive what he does to you and then get a lawyer if you don't know how to represent yourself as pro se representation and take legal action against the injustice. Because they're not going to do anything to him beyond, hey, man, you need to do better than that next time. That's the best you're going to get. Outside of that, you're not going to get anything else. So, that is all I have for you guys for today. I want you guys to make sure that you like and subscribe. You note, I appreciate you guys from Twitch showing up. Y'all know that we're here on a regular basis. I've been missing y'all because y'all ain't been coming in as much, but we got money coming up for the rest of the week. We're going to be talking about different things in business and finance. I did say that we were going to be setting up some stuff in other countries that we were going to be talking about. I do have that professional writer that's supposed to be coming on this week. I'm going to see if he's going to come in on probably Friday or Saturday. I had some questions come up about the American Express card, so I'm going to be trying to talk to you guys about that American Express card and what the dealio is, because there's a lot of people walking away from the American Express card, and they're really walking away from it because of the annual service fees. And it to me, I feel like the annual service fees are high, but it's an annual service fee, not a monthly service fee. So really, if you think about it, if you divide that $350 a year to 12 monthly payments, you can put that money into your savings account and then let the credit card come and get it when it's time, instead of walking away from your Amex card. But they got so many people that are walking away from the Amex card because of the $350,000 because they feel like it's too expensive. Well, American Express is supposed to represent the wealthy, because you can't really qualify for an American Express unless you have really good credit. You don't just have like good decent credit like 650. You got to have over a 680, like a 700, 720, something like that. So when you have an American Express card, like, you really got good credit. Okay, so which then they want their clients to have money too. So if you've got $350 a year to spend on a credit card, which was that less than $35 a month, $25, $30 a month as a guaranteed monthly service fee that you've got to pay for this card, plus whatever interest rates that you pay on outstanding balance, you got to ask yourself, can you afford that? If you can, go get you an Amex card. If you can't, then stick with Capital One. But Amex is beneficial. Nevertheless, you will be able to do your Amex cards are like $100,000, $150,000, $200,000 limits. Anybody that's in real estate can take that $350 a year fee, put it with the withdrawal fee from taking out that 200 grand, and then go and do a transaction that gets them back 250 grand. And then the difference is the cost of doing business, where you still walked away with like $40,000 to $45,000 after you paid off the 3% service fee and the $350 annual fee. So if you're really going to try to figure out how to leverage your credit cards with the fees and service fees, the usage fees, and the monthly annual, the annual fee, not the monthly fee, the annual fee. If you're going to learn how to leverage your credit cards, you want to take the expenses of using a credit card and offset it from the profit of taking the money off of the credit card, and then you will be set. Now, also, if you have a business and you have a business credit card where your business has got an Amex card and your business's Amex card costs $350 a year, that is a bank fee, which that is a tax write-off. So do you really care if you're paying $350 a year for an Amex card if it's going to take $350 a year off of Uncle Sam's pocket? No. But I mean, if you're broke and you're a W-2 worker and you've got an Amex card, that $350 a year comes out of your entertainment. So that probably will piss you off. But if you're a business, that's the cost of doing business. So we're going to be talking about stuff like that going forward. So be ready for the rest of the week. We got to fill in the blanks going forward for the rest of the week, and then start setting stuff up for next week. The week after this week, because Monday is the beginning of this week. So next week, next Monday, we're trying to set up stuff for next week, Monday. So as we start setting things up, you'll start seeing some new shows popping up on YouTube. And we are still live 7 days a week, 9 Eastern, 8 Central, 5 Pacific. We typically kind of start off a little bit late right now because of our internet issues. But our internet issues did not hold us back too much today. I tried to run it in HD, so if I have some frame changes that I'm not seeing on my side, just note that I know that the lag is there and the drop frames are there, but we're still working on it. We had a transformer go out on one of the cell towers in the neighborhood just last night, and we're operating on, I think, 10 megabytes per second of upload speed. So anybody with a computer that knows what 8 to 10 megabytes per second of upload speed looks like, you understand that we're functioning like dial-up right now. And this is the 5G network from T-Mobile, so it doesn't get any better than this. So you understand that it's only going to get worse. So the best that we can do at this point is just ease with it until we can get the relocation going. So we're still working on putting ourselves in a better atmosphere. So as soon as we get the podcast over to another location that has a better, we're calling the cell company and finding out which cities have good cell service so that we can go there and get better service. And we're not really looking for going to a city with a higher density. We're going to a city with a lower density and higher cell service. So that means that the lesser usage of the cell service will be amplified by the higher connectivity of the cell service, which will then give us that hyper high speed service that they've been advertising. So with that being said, I really appreciate you guys' patience. You guys make us what we are as we're crossing over 17,000. It's been a wild ride this year, because this is the anniversary of when we started doing a podcast. So I want to say I'm proud that we made it a full year. But at the same time, I am still saying that you guys make us what we are, and we're going to get better as we deal with the algorithm changes. So as things start progressing in a different fashion, hopefully we should start seeing a lot more spins and twists and turns in the right direction. Hang tight, because from what I understand, I'm supposed to be talking about Brazil and Romania in the upcoming weeks, since we've got some boys from Brazil and Romania that's giving us some shout outs. So I'm gonna be talking about some business and finance in your countries coming soon. So don't worry about it. I know that I told y'all I got y'all. I got everybody. I can't just tell you how to make yourself successful in the U.S. when you don't live in the U.S. We've got BRICS. We got the 5 countries that operate BRICS. We've got the euro. We've got the U.S. dollar. We got crypto. There's a lot of ways that we can make money for ourselves. So let's go find some ways for us to be successful in every country in the world. And there are more than 10 countries. So for those people who think that there ain't that many countries because you only hear about the U.S., China, and Africa, there are plenty of countries around the world where we can go and find places to make ourselves financially successful. And that's what we're going to be talking about going forward. So I really appreciate you guys coming to This and That. I'm your host, Xander, where we talk about this, that, and everything in between. And I'll see y'all tomorrow night.